Hello team, today's challenge is Schema Validator Part 4, where we continue this journey around validating our object according to a schema. Before we had just username, post, verified, and roles. That was yesterday, right? Roles being any one of these strings, but only these strings, right? And today we're adding an optional flag. So we want to know if they're a supporter, and that supporter might be optional. So if supporter is there, it definitely needs to be a Boolean. If supporter is not there, we don't care. That's okay. Okay. So to get started on this, we're going to go back to Schema Validator Part 3 and steal our code. Okay. Just like this, I'm going to bring it back over. We're going to paste it all in, and we have some stuff that we don't need. Brilliant. So where we left off yesterday is we have our roles, right? And we made them an array because this is a bitwise OR, right? Which doesn't help us because these are strings. Bitwise OR only works with numbers and big int. So we had to make a decision there, and we changed it, and some other stuff, okay? We test for the object. Again, all of this is explained in those previous videos. We iterate through the schema keys and test if they match up, right? So if it's an array, then we want to see if that array in the schema is strings. If it is, then we test against that, right? If it's included. Otherwise, we just see, is it in there? Yes. Okay, match the schema, right? That's where we are so far. And now we're going to add in that supporter. Okay, so supporter, just like this. We want it to be optional, and it's going to be Boolean. Okay. Now our first problem here, and the first thing that I really don't like about this solution we'll talk about, is the fact that this question mark is going to cause our code to not work, right? In fact, if you run it, it'll say this function doesn't exist because it kind of gets stuck here and it stops the code from running any further, okay? Which means that the only way around that is to wrap the whole thing in quotes. Do I like that? Absolutely not. We'll talk about that more in a few seconds here. But with that, we can go down here into our every and add some stuff. Okay, we're going to set up optional, just like this. We're going to set it to false. We're going to set up object key and set it to key. And then we can use that object key anywhere we have object. So object key becomes object key becomes object key in object, right? We get all of those. From here, we go back up to this line 19, this let object, and drop into a conditional, okay? The conditional is if that key ends with a question mark, okay? So we go key dot ends with a literal question mark. If it does, then we change things up, okay? We get optional, just like this, setting that to true, right? Because now it's optional, so we can do that. And we set object key equal to the key without the question mark. Okay, so it's going to be key dot slice from 0 to -1. That's 0 up to and including, or 0 up to but not including the last character, which is the question mark in this case. Okay, so with those all done, we just need to use them, and we have most of it down here. But this right here, this thing that we added a long time ago to take care of our undefined, well, that is our primary condition, okay? If the object key is in object, then we want to test against our schema. If it's not, then we want to test if it is optional, okay? So if this, then test this. If not this, then test the optional. And so to do that, we can just flip this to a ternary. So we go down here, adding that question mark, jumping to the next line, adding a colon, and going optional, and it works, okay? Does it work great? I mean, it works. So that's the primary win. But I would hazard a guess that I am beginning to not like this code, okay? Whereby hazard a guess, I mean, I am absolutely not liking this code. So let's talk about that for a second. We started out with just a username. and we built around that, and then we added some other things, and we built some more stuff, and then we added in the roles option, right? It needs to be one of these roles, right? So we added in that, and now today we're adding in supporter that has this optional flag inside of the string. Hating that already, but stay with me, okay? At each stage, we've added more and more stuff. So all week, since the first challenge, right, Schema Validator Part 1, we've actually built this in a way that is very common in professional development. We've started out with some stuff, and then maybe months or years later, somebody has come in and had to change some stuff because of bugs or feature enhancements. And instead of rewriting everything, they've just tacked on more stuff. And then a little while later, somebody else comes in and they tack on more stuff, and never really updating the code, never really refactoring the code to be more elegant, more maintainable, just adding more. And so we are asking this callback function here to do just an awful lot, right? So while it works, I'm not super happy about it, right? And I think at this point, because we've gotten deep enough in and we can kind of see where this is going, this is a great place for a refactor, which I'm absolutely not going to do in this video. In fact, I'm going to take that offline for myself. I'm thinking something like classes with static methods, similar to how Zod works. If you've ever played with Zod as a schema validator, works brilliantly, right? So I might play around with that and record a follow-up video sometime in the near future and post it, okay? But I left this in here because it lets you see how past decisions can weigh on future code, right? And that becomes very important. Every single code base I've ever worked on has this problem in one form or another. There's some dark corner of the project where nobody wants to play with that code because it means that they are adding more stuff to it, or that they have to spend hours and hours and hours refactoring it, right? And a lot of people don't want to put in that kind of effort, right? That's work, and maybe they don't have time. So I'm going to do that offline. I'm going to think about it for a while and maybe come up with something else, right? But for now, this works, right? So as a professional, I've seen it. When I was younger, I did it. This is today's solution. Tell me what you think of it in the comments. Again, be gentle, right? Because I've already claimed that it's ugly code. So don't tell me that it's ugly code. I already know that. Until tomorrow, this has been Schema Validator Part 4. I'm very curious what Schema Validator Part 5 is going to be, right? And yeah, I will see you in the next one.